Welcome to a new episode of TTG Conversations 5 Questions video series. I'm Karen Yu, Group Editor of TTG Asia Media. In this episode, we will be sky gazing, or rather, we'll be talking about how unpredictable climate is impacting travel plans, especially outdoor travel and adventure travel. Taking us through this topic is Chuan Sheng Soong, CEO of Klook Protect, which is the travel insurance arm of Klook. It's great having you here, yes?
Hi, Karen. Thanks for having me.
I've got 5 questions for you, and here's the first. Headlines of extreme weather conditions have been quite common throughout 2024, I'm sure you agree. The year last year ended with news of the heaviest snowfall in Seoul in a century, as well as warmer than expected autumn and winter that delayed the peak of seasonal foliage. And now here in Singapore, we kicked off this year with an unusually wet month. So I would imagine unpredictable weather to impact operators of outdoor tours and activities the most. What are your observations on this?
So you're absolutely right, Karen. I think, we've all observed, whether it's the snowstorms in Korea or, volcano eruptions in Bali and monsoon season in Singapore. It seems like these extreme weather conditions are becoming more prevalent, and indeed is a concern for your typical traveler. Now, at Klook, we still notice a very, very strong travel trend. So especially heading towards the end of the year, travel, that's peak travel season, and we're seeing a lot of bookings and a lot of travel flows. And so that's not stopping anyone from traveling. People still do want to travel. But at the same time, when they're traveling, we also notice that they have a higher emphasis on outdoor activities. I think that's a trend that came from COVID and continues to still be a very strong trend. Over 50% of survey participants that we do internally indicate that they're still looking for outdoor activities. And what that means is that these outdoor activities are more likely to be affected by adverse weather conditions. So it's extremely important to understand what type of travel you're doing. Personally, here at Klook Protect, we do notice that there are a lot of travel insurance out there, but specifically as it relates to the experiences space, for example, outdoor activities, there still remains a gap. And we are very interested to understand where those gaps are and how we can find the right solutions for our travelers.
Now, I understand that you hate Klook Protect, but on the Klook side, how can operators, of tours and activities, especially those conducted outdoors, better plan for unpredictable weather? And specifically, what is Klook doing to support trip partners who may be affected by lost business due to climate issues?
You're right. So indeed, adverse weather conditions and such unpredictability, I think that's inherent in the nature of travel industry, and all travel operators understand and try to find ways to deal with it. For Klook, we are essentially a middleman between the traveler and the operators. And so when we work with our merchants, internally, we do have a number of protocols that we have designed specifically to respond to perhaps what we call a crisis management, right? So we cannot stop these events from happening, but when they do happen, we stay very close to the customer, really providing them prompt customer service, giving them advice on what's happening to their bookings and their activities. And then we also work very closely with the merchants to help them with service recovery, right? There's a lot they have to do with on their plate when such events happen. And what we do is we try to make that process as seamless as possible.
As weather becomes a bigger variable of good experiences, how can travelers better plan for unpredictable weather?
Yeah, so it's always going to be challenging to prepare for that. I think the number one thing I would advise is for travelers really to understand their own travel scenario and where those gaps are. And what we do is we try to provide as many solutions as possible so that they have the option of finding ways that they can safeguard their interest, right? So, for example, some of the more innovative solutions that we have launched include what we call a No-Show Refund. So the way it works is, let's say you're unable to attend an activity or an experience, perhaps due to inclement weather, then you would be able to receive a compensation and a refund from us. Another one of those products is what we call satisfaction guarantee, and that's really interesting because that's really a world's first, and I don't think anyone else offers that. How it could work is, For example, if let's say you went to Tokyo Skytree, which is an observation deck to view the skyline of Tokyo City, and the weather is terrible. Often it's quite foggy, and you get up there and you realize actually it's really foggy and I can't really see anything. We will be able to provide you up to a full refund for that scenario.
Okay, sounds good. No questions asked, or you need to provide a picture to show that you can't see anything actually.
So we do have some checks and balances where we'll ask for a picture, but usually because of the number of amount of data that we deal with, we understand where the bad weather conditions are happening, and usually when these scenarios happen, lots of customers face the same scenario. So we're pretty good at understanding if a bad situation has occurred.
Very cool. Yes, very cool. Okay. Now, you spoke about how there are different kinds of travel insurances available in the market. So let's talk about the take-up of insurance, travel insurance, with the rising frequency of unpredictable weather conditions. Are you seeing more of those take-ups? Are people getting more serious about travel insurance as a result of weather conditions?
Yes, we would say so. I mean, generally, I think there's a high take-up, increasing trend in terms of people getting more educated around how insurance can provide value in their lives. And really, the most important thing through our surveys that we have conducted is a peace of mind. When you're traveling, you really want to be at ease and really enjoy the moment. So people are really finding solutions that can give them that peace of mind, and that's what we have to offer. Specifically for those two like newer, more innovative solutions that we've offered, the bad weather conditions are actually the most common scenario. Tokyo Skytree, for example, that I've mentioned, the number one claim reason is due to bad weather, and this is not necessarily like a natural disaster. It could just be a cloudy and foggy day, and you'll still be taken care of. So we definitely see strong use cases in that regard.
Okay. Are the travel insurance adoption rate different across travel different source markets? Do you see any difference in there, or everyone's adopting travel insurance the same?
So it could be different across different markets. I think the awareness towards insurance could differ. And so what we do is we have presence across all these different local markets, and we work closely with our teams locally to help to educate and help to help travelers to understand what their options are out there so that they can make the most informed decision for themselves.
Okay. And what should travelers know when selecting the right travel insurance for themselves?
Yeah, so I think education is important. I think doing a bit of research is important. Interestingly, what we've noticed is that even though I think there's an increasing trend towards buying insurance, what is also true is that most people buy insurance last minute, like within the last week, or perhaps even just before you take your flight or a day before. But what that likely means is that it's likely that travelers might not be fully aware about the T's and C's, terms and conditions, as well as the limitations of their existing travel insurance packages, right? So one thing that I would highly recommend is for people to do a little bit more research beforehand to understand where the gaps are. Most typical travel insurance covers your usual, perhaps accident, flight delays, etc. But it might not cover a bad weather condition. And so understanding that would be important. I would encourage people to do that. And then secondly is to understand your own personal traveling style and your personal scenario, right? Where are you traveling to? How are you traveling? What are the likely risk factors so that you can also find the right solutions that can cater to you. So our job here at Klook Protect is to provide as many of those solutions as possible, such that when you identify those scenarios that you would like to be covered for, we have something for you.
Sounds good. And that's all the questions I have for you, CS. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Karen.
Past and future episodes of TTG Conversations 5 Questions can be found on the TTG YouTube channel. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.